Hey, Shalom, mocking Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us His truth and that's still teaching His truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes, and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another quick lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying and to the point. And I want to do a lesson on this video, really a point on this video, a point that Bishop Nathaniel, or General Nathaniel, whatever his title is, a point that he made, and he was going off on this point, linking up Daniel, the 8th chapter, to end time prophecy. Now, it's a spirit, it's a spirit because the apostles at the apostles this past weekend, they actually went in on Daniel, the 8th chapter after with the after camp lesson, which is the spirit. This video that you see here, this is IURC Germany, came out 3 hours ago. It says, warning, the devil is coming to Papua New Guinea. And I'm probably saying it incorrectly, what I'm saying? So Salaki if I am. But he tried to link, Daniel, the 8th chapter to end time prophecy, which Daniel the 8th chapter already happened. Okay, when you read Daniel the 8th chapter, it's going into pretty much going into the rise of the fall of the Medo-Persian Empire and the rise of the Greco-Roman, the Greek Empire, which later turned into the Greco-Roman Empire. In particular, key figures in history that show forth. But when you read in Daniel the 8th chapter, just like Daniel the 11th chapter, has already took place. It already happened. Okay, it's not talking about America. It's not talking about anything in the latter times. Daniel the 8th chapter has already happened. Okay, now I'm gonna play some of this video and I'm gonna show you what the point of what I'm talking about. And like I said, Lord willing, is edifying. The Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, Bashem Rachakwadash will feed me with the precepts necessary to make the lesson edifying. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it real quick.
Pope, the vicar of Christ. It says, again, the Pope stands in the place of Jesus himself as the vicar of Christ on earth. Remember what verse 4 says, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Watch this. Let's go to Daniel.
And when you read 2 Thessalonians 2, okay, now the Pope is part of, the Pope is part of the this beast system. You have like the three unclean spirits that came out of the mouth of beasts, like the 3 unclean spirits that came out of the let's actually grab that real quick since I mentioned it. In Revelation 3 unclean. Let's do it like that. Okay, this is Revelation 16. Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. I started verse 12. It says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared, which is actually happening right now. You actually physically have the Euphrates River actually drying up, okay, which is a biblical prophecy. All right, verse 13, it says, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. Now the 3 unclean spirits, all right, that came out of the mouth of the dragon goes into the Roman Catholic Church, or like the beast so-called religion. All right, his financial sector as well as his military. Okay, because that's what you read in Revelation when it says that the false prophet, all right, was burned up whenever the beast is destroyed. That false prophet is talking about the Roman Catholic Church. But when you read in 2 Thessalonians 2, okay, I'll finish up verse 13 actually. It says, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, which that false prophet is talking about collectively the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope. Okay, but when you read in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, okay, when you read in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, and he was reading verse 4. Yeah, he was reading verse 4. Let's start at verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, all right, except there come a falling away first, which that falling away first, all all right, it's going into whenever we would fall, you know, after the time of 70 AD, us as a people, all right, we were scattered out of the land of Israel. Okay, we were scattered into the interiors of Africa. We were in North Africa, West Africa. We went into Spain. You know, we went into Asia Minor. You know, we pretty much got scattered outside of our land because Jerusalem was trodden down. Okay, so that falling away first goes into apostasy, whereas we would pretty much lose our way and lose our heritage all over again, right? It says, "And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." Okay, and that man of sin is being revealed, the son of perdition or the son of destruction. Okay, it's talking about Esau, Edom. All right, he collectively, the Edomites, okay, and beginning with the elite banking families, these elite banking families, whether the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gates, the Morgans, the Oppenheimers, okay, all these elite banking families that are ruling the world as we know it today, they are the chief of the Edomites, okay, which claim themselves to be the chosen people, which they're not, and they know that they're not. Okay, it says the son of perdition. All right, the son of perdition. Okay, and it says who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worship. Because now what do you got Esau doing? You got Esau pretty much claiming himself to be the Godhead via this technocracy that he has set up. You see, in the ultimate form of him wanting to be your God is by putting the is by way Salaki is putting the MOTB inside of you, which is the micro C-hip. Okay, written about in Revelation the 13th chapter, which them at the IUIC don't agree with. Okay, they say that it's sin in all its forms, or it's political sin, which that doesn't make no sense. Okay, so it's a lot deeper than just the Pope. He's a part of it, but it's a lot deeper than that. Okay, so it says, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Now, what's the Most High's temple? We are the temple of the Most High. Collectively, we are the temple of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So how does he want to sit in the temple? He wants to sit in the temple by the micro C-hip. That's truly how he wants to do it. And if you get that, and if you get the micro C-hip, that's pretty much you're getting a stamp upon you, showing that that's your badge of honor to Esau as being your God. That's your sign of allegiance. Okay, so it's deeper than just the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope. He's a part of it. I'm not saying that he's not a part of it, but it's deeper than just that. Okay, so let's go back to the video and listen some more.
Daniel chapter 8, verse 23. Now I could get more in detail with Thessalonians, but for today I'm just going to briefly touch on certain things. Daniel 8:23. And in the latter time of their kingdom is talking about the white man's kingdom.
That's incorrect. That is incorrect. Okay, when you read in Daniel chapter 8, verse 23, you just heard what Bishop Nathaniel just said. He said it's talking about in the latter time of the white man or Esau's kingdom. That's what he just said. So he's equating Daniel chapter 8, verse 23 to now, which is not correct. You're going off. Okay, as a matter of fact, well, let's let him finish and we'll go to it.
From Rome all the way up to the United States of America.
Hold on a second. So in Daniel 8:23, the Romans wasn't even in power at this time. It wasn't Pax Romana. If that's the case, when you say Daniel chapter 8 verse 23, you're equating you're saying that the Romans was in power at that time? No. This is incorrect. This is you're breaking the scriptures down incorrectly. This is wrong. According to history, you're incorrect. You're going off.
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, you see transgressions coming to the full now, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. Now, when you look at the Pope.
So he's saying, y'all hearing this? He's saying that Daniel, the 8th chapter, the 23rd verse, is going into the Pope. Now let's go to Daniel chapter 8, verse 23. We'll actually start up a little bit. All right, we'll actually start up a tad. All right, this is Daniel chapter 8. Woo, man, that's the spirit, man. You see how the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is, how cold the spirit is, man. The apostles literally just went into this past week. I had no clue that I was gonna do a video on this. I was literally I got out the gym, I worked out. And I turned YouTube on because, you know, I drive home and listen to YouTube, and this literally just popped up on my home feed. So I seen Bishop Nathaniel's face, and I seen the title. So I'm like, okay, well, the video's not long. It's only 11 minutes long. I'm like, let me see. Let me just see what he's going into. Let me just listen. This is what the Spirit wants me to go into, because the Spirit already brought this out this past weekend. That's heavy, man. Wow, man. Call Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, man. Man, you can't see that the Lord ain't working with, you know, beginning with the apostles and others on down, man. Then you tripping. Let's go into it. This is Daniel chapter 8, verse. We'll start at verse 18. Now, mind you, when you go to the very top of the chapter, this is Daniel seeing a vision of a ram and of a he-goat. This has nothing to do with Rome, okay? But we'll start at verse 18. This is Daniel chapter 8, verse 18. It says, "Now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed the end shall be." The end of what? The end of the very end of this kingdom. Not this kingdom as we're living in right now. Not Esau, Edom's kingdom. Okay, the end of this specific rulership that's talked about in Daniel the 8th chapter. And he's about to go into it. Verse 20, "The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia." Okay, that's the ram. Okay, you had the Medo-Persian Empire. The Medes came up first, and then the Persians came up after. Okay, and the Persians were greater. The Persian Empire was greater than the empire of the Medes. It was pretty much the kingdom of the Medes was pretty much amalgamated into the kingdom of the Persians. Okay, it says, "And the rough goat is the king of Grecia," right? "And that great horn that is between his eyes is the first king." Now, who's this great horn? This great horn that was between his eyes is Alexander the Great. Okay, and you can read that history of Alexander the Great, or we call him Alexander the Greek. You can read about his history when you go into the book of First Maccabees. Okay, verse 22. "Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, which Alexander died." He reigned for 12 years. All right, he reigned from 320 BC roughly to about 332 BC. Okay, he died when he was like 32. His kingdom was divided into four parts, where he had his kingdom that was divided into four parts. You had Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucus, right? It says, "Now that being broken, he died, whereas four stood up for it. Four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power." You see, it wasn't passed down to his posterity. It was kingdom was divided. You see, these are people that he pretty much came up with as childhood friends, and he divided his kingdom. And once again, like I said, you can read this history in First Maccabees. That's why it's important to understand and know the history before you can know the mystery, man. You got to know the history. And this is something that the wacky-tacky Christians ain't going to teach you. You ain't going to learn about. When I grew up, you know, coming into the Christian church or whatever the case may be, I'd never heard of the book of Maccabees. Hell, I knew about Daniel and the lion's den. You know, I heard about that, but I didn't know about the prophecies of Daniel and the statue and the seven-headed beast with 10 horns. And they ain't going to go into all that. Even Daniel chapter 8. Okay? Okay? Now, mind you, verse 22, we're talking about his kingdom, Alexander's kingdom, being divided and broken into four parts. Still, this is still the same thought process. This is the breakdown of the vision that Daniel seen. Verse 23, it says, "And in the latter time of their kingdom," in the latter time of whose kingdom? It says their kingdom. Their is plural. Not THERE, but THEIR, right? Their kingdom. Remember, the kingdom was divided into four parts, right? And in the latter time of their kingdom, okay, because when you look at it, they was ruling for hundreds of years until Antiochus Epiphanes IV came on the scene. Mind you, this is from 332 to, I want to say, maybe 155, 156 BC, maybe. Well, you know what? Let's just take a look. Let's actually take a look. Antiochus I'm not gonna spell this. I'm not gonna spell this correctly. Epiphanes. I think I spelled it correctly. Okay, boom. This is Antiochus or Antiochus, the Epiphanes the fourth. Okay, and Epiphanies, when you break that word down, Epiphanies pretty much means God manifest. That's what Antiochus Epiphanes pretty much means. And these are the Edomites, man. Clearly see that this bust that you see here looks like an Edomite, a so-called self-proclaimed white man, and they always try to feign themselves as being the Most High, like Ptolemy Soter. Soter means savior. Antiochus Epiphanes means God manifest. So they always had that thought process of them being the Most High all the time. Okay, I was close with Epiphanes. I think I was missing a P. Okay, he died 164 BC. Okay, he died I was off by maybe like 20 years. So it says Antiochus the fourth Epiphanes, circa 215 BC. That's when he was born, November to 164 BC. Was a Greek Hellenistic king who ruled the Seleucid Empire from 175 BC until his death in 164 BC. Okay, so I was off by about like 20 years. He was the son of King Antiochus III the Great, originally named Mithridates, alternate form Mithridates. He assumed the name Antiochus after he ascended the throne. I wonder what the name Antiochus means. Let's see something real quick. I'm just curious. Because I know Epiphanes means God manifest. Antiochus. Let's do it like this. What does Antiochus mean? King of the North. He was regarded as the king of the North, referred to in Daniel 11. When you read Daniel 11, all right, it goes into the 6 Syrian wars, which were realistically mainly between the Ptolemaic Empire and the Seleucid Empire. When you go into it, it doesn't really tell you meaning, origin, history of the name Antiochus. Let's see. I know what anti means, like against. Yeah, like anti, against. From the Greek name Antiochus, derived from Greek anti meaning against, compared to, like, and ochi meaning support. So like or against support. This was the name of several rulers of the Seleucid Empire. It was also borne by a 2nd century Christian martyr, the patron saint of Sardinia. I wonder why he didn't get his name changed into a Hebrew name, by the way. Okay. But anti meaning against, and ochi or ochi meaning support, against support, is what they're saying. But we'll have to look deeper into that. It says notable events during Antiochus' reign include his near conquest of Ptolemaic Egypt, his persecution of the Jews of Judea and Samaria, and the rebellion of the Jewish Maccabees. Once again, that's what we mentioned earlier. When you read the book of Maccabees, it goes into pretty much the wars that the Hasmoneans, when you go into Judas Maccabees and his brothers, the Hasmonean dynasty had against the Greek Empire. Okay. All right, and you can read more. You can read more on this just to get more history on this. But yeah, the madman. And when you read the history of Antiochus Epiphanes, man, this dude was a complete demon. He was a demon with a capital D. Okay. Now let's go back to the scripture. So this is Daniel 8:23. It says, "And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full," right? When the transgressors have come to the full. Remember, the Lord, he works in a measure, and he doesn't. Let's get that scripture. Until the said measure is full, like you had the iniquity of the Canaanites, they had to be fulfilled before we could actually go in and take them out the land. You see, the Lord works in a dispensation of time. So the Lord allowed the wickedness of the Greeks to get to their height. That's what it means. That's where it means where it says when the transgressors are come to the full. Okay, let's get. I think this is in 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter. Okay, yep, 2nd Ezra 4. And 37, it says, by measure he hath measured the times, right? And by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So the said measure of wickedness had to be fulfilled for the Greeks, just like the said measure had to be fulfilled for the Canaanites, just like the said measure has to be fulfilled for Esau. He has to hit that pinnacle of wickedness before what? Before Yahweh sends back Yahweh Shai. Everything is done, and everything is done in order and in a balance, man. Okay, and even when you just get that word full, when the said measure is at, when the said measure, when it says and in the latter time of their kingdom, okay, it's written in the actual Syriac, so let's go to the reverse. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, that word is thamum, to be complete or finished. Not Esau, Edom's complete kingdom of his dominion, going into 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Esau's the end of the world and Jacob's the beginning of that. No, that's not what it's talking about. Okay, it says to be complete or to be fulfilled. All right, it says transgressions complete, sum up. When the transgressions were completely filled up, and that word transgression is pashai. Okay, and it says transgress against the Most High. Because mind you, when you go into that history, okay, when you go into that history, man, hey, Esau, man, you know that they had you had the abomination of desolation that was set up in the temple. All these different things, man. Slacking for the screen going sideways. So let's read it. It says, and in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance, right, and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And that king that's understanding dark sentences and of a fierce countenance is talking about Antiochus Epiphanes IV. It's not talking about the Pope. It ain't talking about nothing going on today in Esau Edom's kingdom here in America, in Babylon the Great, and in this beast system rule. And it has nothing to do with anything happening today here in America, man. Okay, it says, and his mighty. When you even let's you know what? Let's actually just see if he keeps on reading. Let's see if he keeps on reading on this. I'm just curious.
He was just some time ago. He was at the World Economic Forum, and it reads: Pope Francis says peace calls for more than setting aside instruments of war. It demands addressing the injustices that are the root causes of conflict. Now, the Pope has been a root cause of all world conflicts, first and foremost, but he's not dealing with that. Now, in the article, it says on September 3rd, the Holy Father will first land in Jakarta, Indonesia, the world's most populous Muslim majority nation, to promote religious harmony and interfaith dialogue between Christians and Muslims in the country. Now, you may say religious harmony is a good thing. Okay, what does interfaith mean? It means interconnecting, interfaith, interconnecting faiths. That's very strange. Now, Pope Francis, it says Pope Francis says peace calls for more than, it goes into the scriptures.
Okay, let's
Pope
go
Francis
back.
says peace calls for more than setting aside instruments of war. Let me read on Daniel 8:23. Now, when it says understanding dark sentences, it goes into the scriptures. And also remember this: the Pope speaks 7 languages: Spanish, English, Italian.
It says in Daniel 8:23 has nothing to do with the Pope today. Daniel, the 8th chapter, all right, has already happened. We're going to read down even more just to fulfill what was being said here. Okay.
Latin, French, Portuguese, and German. He speaks 7 languages.
Let's get dark sentences in the Hebrew. I'm just curious to see what it says in dark sentences, right? In understanding, bayan, dark sentences. And that word is chayadah. All right, chayadah, dark sentences. It says with skilled and double dealing. Okay, double dealing. And did not Antiochus. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Let's go to it real quick. Spirit moving like the wind. Yeah, I didn't have anything set up, so just bear with me. Let's see. Peaceably. I want to say that word peaceably is in there. Peaceably. Let's see. I probably get a little bit of Daniel 11 and 21 as well. Let's see here. Yeah, I probably get Daniel 11 and 20. Let's read a little bit here. This is Daniel chapter 11, verse... Mind you, Daniel chapter 11 has already happened. I just want to find a good spot to start. Let's start at verse 16. This is Daniel 11 and 16. It says, "But he that cometh against him," talking about the king of the coming up against the king of the south, "shall do according to his will, and none shall stand before him." Why would none stand before him? Because the Most High was working with him, right? It says, "And he shall stand in the glorious land, the land of Israel, which by his hand shall be consumed," because it was always a power struggle between who's going to occupy the Holy Land. You had the Ptolemaic Empire trying to operate, and you had the Ptolemaic Empire trying to occupy the Holy Land, as well as the Seleucid Empire trying to occupy the Holy Land, right? "And he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed." Okay, and the land of Israel has always been a buffer, like pretty much like a buffer state between these different nations trying to occupy it. You see, because it's the middle of where commerce can be moved and traded. Why do you think all these different nations are trying to occupy the land right now? Because it's a prime position for trade, export, import, so on and so forth, right? Verse 17. "He shall also set his face to enter with strength." Let me read it again. "He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him." All right, who are upright ones? Upright ones are also Israelites too, because when you go into the history, you had Jake that actually pretty much bended the knee and bowed down to the way of the Greek customs. Yeah, Jake that pretty much was with building up gymnasiums and things of that nature in the land, right next to the temple. You know, pretty much they made themselves uncircumcised. You know, they was part of the Olympics, so on and so forth, right? It says, "And upright ones with him." It says, "Thus shall he do. He shall give him the daughter of woman, and he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither be with him." Because when you go into the history of Daniel 11, you had all these different pacts and deals that was being made, and marriage agreements that was being made between the king of the south, which was the Ptolemaic Empire, and the king of the north, which was the Seleucid Empire, right? It says, verse 18, "After this shall he turn his face into the isles, and shall take many. But a prince of his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own approach, he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land. But he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle." Okay, you had many Antiochuses, you had many Ptolemies, right? "And in his estate shall stand up a vile person," which this vile person that's talked about here is talked about Antiochus of the fourth Epiphanes, "to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom. But he shall come in peaceably," that's those dark sayings and sentences, "and obtain the kingdom by flatteries." And you read about those same flatteries in the book of Maccabees, man. He pretty much offered peace and was coming peaceably, but he will come into the kingdom and completely destroy Jake, man. You see? It says, where was we at? Hold up. Verse 22. And with the arms of a flood, his military, shall they be over, I think it meant to say overthrown. No, overflown. Wait. Daniel 11:22. Let's just double check and see. Daniel 11 and 22. Because sometimes in this app, some words be incorrect. I noticed. I just want to double check. Okay, overflown. All right. It says, "And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken. Yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully." That's those dark sentences. "For he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. He shall enter peaceably even upon the fattest places of the province." That province is talking about the land of Israel. And he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey, and spoil and riches. Yea, he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. That's talking specifically about Antiochus Epiphanes IV. So let's go back to Daniel chapter 8, okay, and read even verse 24. It says, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. He shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people. And that's going into whenever he initially set up the abomination of desolation. Okay, made Jake offer swine's flesh upon the altar. Put the temple of put the idol of Jupiter or Zeus in the temple. And that's when you go into the whole history whenever the Maccabees was set up, and then they initially, took out the Greeks, and then eventually they rebuilt the temple and cleansed the temple, which goes into Hanukkah or Hanukkah. Okay, ain't talking about the Pope today.
And when they speak in dark sentences. I'm gonna give you an example. When the Pope talks about religious harmony, let's look it up. Religious harmony is the idea of different religions and their followers peacefully coexisting and developing together. That sounds good. Let's go down to the bottom. However,
that's not, like I said, Daniel 8 and 23 is not talking about the Pope and today and end time prophecy is talking about America and the Roman Catholic Church. No, Daniel the 8th chapter has already happened. Okay, it's going into the rise. It's going to the fall of the Medo-Persian Empire and the rise of the Greco-Roman Empire, beginning with the Greeks, though, specifically the Greeks, and Hellenization of the Jews, man. In particular, key figures who were a part of the Hellenization of the Jews. One of those key figures was Antiochus IV Epiphanes. It ain't talking about the Pope. Daniel 8 has already took place and happened. But you can watch the rest of this video. Once again, this is IUIC Germany. It came out 3 hours ago. Warning: the devil is coming to Papua New Guinea. If you want to watch it, you can. I pray that this lesson was edifying to the elect of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. They watched the apostles after camp lesson that they did with the brothers, the elders and the brothers out there, and you'll get a better understanding of Daniel 8. All right, so with that, Lord willing, this is edifying lesson. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, B'Shem Rachak. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth, and that's what teaching is truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until next time, I say shalom.